Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, was a sad mess. Pierre had passed his prime by this point. They were now adapting a very different Sentai from O-Ranger. Suki Levy wanted to bring a new character that could relate to the audience, so it caused a lot of pressure on the story. Plus, we had unresolved stuff left in Zeo. So many things to cover, I just don't get why they wanted to go for a film. This all should have been a part of just the season, not make a movie. When I watch Turbo, I forget about the movie. It doesn't help that the film is never with the series. No one really cares about it. We still don't have it on Blu-ray. Now, I'm going to keep the characters as is. Justin's there, Divatox, her husband, Elgar is kept, but I also will pull some elements from the season, use the movie's higher budget to act as a proper bridge between Zeo and Turbo so that the season itself doesn't end up a mess. It did have some good ideas, but it was spread all over the place so that the first half of the season was ruined. I want to try to fix that at least. Thank you, Billy McCrary, for this idea. If you have a suggestion you would like me to do, leave a comment below. I might use it.
Finish off Zeo.
This is what caused me to hate the film. Zeo just ended, Rita and Zed were coming back, Jason almost died, Trey got the powers back, they defeated Mondo, the Ranger powers were this super hype thing from day one. I'm gonna want payoff from all that. You built that hype and you want me to forget about Zeo like that? With no explanation? I know there's some deleted material, but if it's not in the movie, it doesn't count. The first half of the movie should have been about the loss of the Zeo powers. To show the new big bad off, you have to do something drastic, so losing the Zeo powers under extreme circumstances would have been perfect to set up Divatox and use Zed for a final attack, winning against them. Malagor could have came in as Zed and Rita were getting prepared to fight the Rangers. They know him, they fear him. He warns them his soon-to-be wife is going to take over Earth, but as a final gift, or if you want to look at it, pity prize, he'll aid them to kill the Rangers for good. This all happens during them graduating high school, so the Rangers are busy and distracted, leaving them open to something they would never see coming.
Use evil Jason and Kim for the story.
Jason and Kim coming back into the movie was a good idea, but they were just used as set pieces. They were a factor, but not the focus. For characters this important, we are talking about Kimberly. Jason came back in Zeo, so we gotta be a part of the story again, but Kim's been gone from season 3. A lot of people like her. They should have been one of the centerpieces of the film. What I would have done was use Rita's magic. We find out she kept the powdered remains of the power coins, which she converted into candles. This causes Jason and Kim to be brainwashed. Their first target is Rocky. Now, right before filming, Steve Cardenas got into an accident, which is why he was written out of the film early. This would be a perfect way to set everything off. Instead of a martial arts match, Kim and Jason ambush Rocky. Using the remaining corrupted power coins, they force Rocky to morph, injure him, threw the powder onto his suit, causing a negative reaction to his Zeo crystal, to the point of it cracking. When Rocky attempts to morph again, the left Zeonizer sparks and the crystal disintegrates, rendering his powers gone. This also severs his connection to his Zeozords. Without Rocky's Zeozords, they can't form any Megazord again. He's taken captive for bait. Rocky's Zeo crystal also acts as a conduit to the other crystals, where the 4 remaining ones are now corrupted. All they have to do is use them. Evil Jason enters the power chamber, feeling reminiscent to Green with Evil, and sets up the trap. Zordon tells them the news just as they get their diplomas. Being distracted and worried for Rocky, they rush out. Alpha realizes Zeozord 3 is not functioning, tries to figure out the problem, the Zeo powers fail, Alpha teleports them back, Rocky is rescued, but they come back to find they can no longer be Rangers again. It's not just a loss of the Zeo powers, it's a loss to their personal connection to the morphing grid. There's some plot holes I need to deal with. If Jason and Kim can be brainwashed, why doesn't Tommy, Rocky, Adam, and Kat fall for the spell? Zeo crystals block them from being brainwashed from a form of power source. When they lose their connection to the grid, magic spells that involve the power coins no longer work. For Tanya, not affected at all. Tanya was never tied to a coin.
Original actors leave.
The worst part of the season was they just did nothing with the original 4 actors. They knew they were leaving, so they just wrote fluff pieces constantly about detonators while they went for replacements. This should have been the biggest part of the movie. With the Zeo powers gone, Zed is doing an attack on the city. The Rangers would be forced to find new people. TJ, Justin, Cassie, and the others would have been brought in from them helping and rescuing people as they can. This midpoint of the movie would be about the bonding of the casts, including Rocky being a mentor to Justin, while Alpha and Zordon figure out what to do. Alpha contacts Eltar, Equitar, and Triforia for help. The turbo powers are created, the original team finishes training them, the new set of Rangers rescue Jason and Kim, they kill Malagor, Divatox sets out for revenge. The movie ends on a sour note with the old Rangers leaving, but they're happy that a new team is up for the job while they move on with their lives. The movie wouldn't have time to devote to TJ and the others, but they would start the season exploring the new characters over the first half. This could help wean us over to the more crazier Car Ranger footage. We don't have to see Tommy become a race car driver out of nowhere and anyone else acting weird due to footage. These are new characters, you got breathing room. I also believe TJ and Justin worked much better together than Tommy and Justin.
Alpha and Zordon leave.
They wanted a clean slate when the new Rangers took over in the series. So I would have made Alpha and Zordon leave along with the original 5 instead of just leaving to deal with general issues. It would have been about finding a way to restore the Zeo crystals, or at least find a way to restore the Rangers to the morphing grid so they could use new powers in a possible future season. Trey could have returned to help them get back to their homes. The way the series had them go, it's just felt like, yeah, the old Rangers are gonna go, you don't need us, here's our replacements. They needed a really good reason to leave. Zordon and Alpha lived on Earth for how many thousands of years? Were friends with multiple people, and they just leave Earth like that? I don't buy it. No, they needed a bigger reason to fill their suitcases. This would give a better out if they chose to never appear again. A passing moment in a future episode, or maybe one final episode involving all the characters. They come back, fix their connection, so if they want to use them again, they can.
Remove Lerigot.
This was a huge misstep in the movie. Lerigot did not need to exist. He was the main reason why Rita and Zed were thrown out. Focusing on this magic guy just to bring in Divatox was the wrong way to go. I don't get why they needed to copy this element from Car Ranger. Dapu served as a very basic mentor in Car Ranger. There was no footage for them to use, so why do it? He doesn't even work well in the movie. He's more of a prop than a character. Bukala was a character more than Lerigot. I think they were just scared to use Zed and Rita again. I get it. They've been around 3 years. We got to get something new, but you were bringing in something new, and you kept them going in Zeo when I wanted them gone. Go back home or just kill them off. If you didn't want to use them, get rid of them. Power Rangers allows all kinds of characters, magic, robotics, monsters, but Lerigot never fit because his magic wasn't defined. He could do pretty much anything. He allowed Alpha and Zordon to leave with no problems. He's a Deus Ex. If he was written differently or just using the movie better, I could have liked him. Honestly, they would have been better off starting with the Phantom Ranger or Blue Centurion in the role. Ultimately, what killed this was the fact that they wanted to make another film. Its popularity in the MMPR days was long gone. A film has limited time to dedicate to the start of the series, on top of them doing it to introduce new powers. Look at Super Sentai. How do they do movies? They do specials, standalone movies, and team-ups. Can you imagine them making a movie starting one of the seasons off, especially if a new season is carrying over the older cast? It can't be done in 2 hours. There's too many expectations to fill. My fixes aren't that amazing. I see the movie still being rushed in a lot of places, but at least the old cast has a send-off. I'm sorry, the way the original cast left in the show was so lackluster. I don't know what was worse about Turbo. We knew these characters for a long time, a few being there from the beginning, Tanya barely for a year, and they got nothing to work with. That was the real failure of season 5. What are your thoughts on Turbo's movie? There's stuff that's good about it. I love the work done on Divatox's sub. That was a new take on the alien base. The movie Turbo cockpits were beautiful. I really hate the show never could use these sets in the series. The higher budget allowed them to create the CGI Turbo Morpher, which was not bad for the time. Thank God they stuck with the guy in the suit for the Megazord footage. The CGI mess from the first film was beyond garbage. The power chamber got some improvements, which moved over in the series, but that's pretty much it. New episodes Monday. Next week, 10 of the worst alterations Bandai America did to the Super Sentai toys.